Hello, hello, hello. We are live. What time is it today? It's 11:30. It's time for coffee and conversations with Melissa. I am Melissa Ducas. I'm the founder and CEO of My Coffee Connect. It's a virtual quality connections for business to business where you can meet, connect, and collaborate. I would love to introduce to you my awesome one of my Coffee Connect attendees. Let me introduce to you her first. Okay. Rose Brown, the accountant therapist, is the CEO of Brown's Fulfillment Consulting and Accounting Firm. Rose possesses several years of experience in many different industries as an accountant. She works with business of different statutes. Rose specializes in taxation, bookkeeping, payroll, and business formations. Her services are tailored and detailed to reflect the needs of her client. Rose uses her platform and educate her clients by simplifying and ensuring understandability throughout each process while remaining compliant and saving money. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Rose Brown.
Hi, Melissa. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful for this opportunity. Every time someone say my name in the same sentence as CEO or founder or owner, it really humbles me because I still can't believe, the things that I've done. Not that it's the most the craziest thing in the world, but at the same time, when I revert back to my past and evaluate where I've been and what I've done, it's still unbelievable to me. But thank you again.
Yes, I still feel the same way too when I say CEO and founder, something like that. So anyway, why did you start your accounting firm and what do you do?
So I started my accounting firm for two reasons. The first one, well, these are the top reasons. The first one is I have to first acknowledge that I've always wanted to be an accountant from heart, from literally from forever. But I also grew up under the umbrella of entrepreneurship without the formalized title, because growing up in Jamaica, most individuals like my mom, she didn't have any other opportunity or any other option but to be an entrepreneur. So that was already in me. And once I went out there and started working in the accounting firm or the accounting world, I didn't necessarily like what I saw going on, because personally, as an accountant, people come to us with the idea of knowing that we have the traits of transparency, trust, and integrity. And I wasn't pleased on how that was being brought forth to the client. So that was one of my reasons to push me out. Now, the next part of that equation is the fact that I realized how I worked with clients. And it wasn't just me, but a coworker of mine back then saw how I worked with clients. And it was just an incredible journey and experience from start to finish. We have to identify the problem. Oftentimes, as business owners, the problem is there, but because you're in it or literally on it, you're not necessarily going to see the problem. So that's where I come in. And then we say, well, here's the problem. Let's move on to the solution. And that's a part of the name, the accountant therapist. I'm basically a therapist for businesses to help them to get through whatever it is that is causing them to not overcome the barriers that are in front of them.
That's an excellent answer. So what kind of clients do you serve?
What kind of clients do I serve? So I serve both individuals and businesses. Now, on the tax side of things, I serve both. But for individuals, I serve them with tax preparation, tax planning, and tax advisory. While for businesses, I use my four elements, which I hold so dear to me because I use it in every approach that I have with businesses. And I call it the holistic approach. So that includes the four elements. And this is business entity, payroll, bookkeeping, and tax, because tax is essential. Now, if we look at all four of these elements, we have business entity. Your business entity will determine so many different things in your business, but first it will determine how you pay yourself, which is payroll, and also it impacts the type of taxes you pay. So those are very important. And of course, bookkeeping, you can never underestimate the importance of bookkeeping, because without bookkeeping, you're literally robbing yourself of tax saving, and you're stopping yourself from having a healthy financial status. Because if you can't trace anything that you have going on in your business, you can't prove that it took place. And without your weapon, which is your proof in an audit, in a legal battle, you can't win.
Yes, that's actually my investment for my business. I paid somebody to do it for me because
Mhm.
I want to do everything done. Something like that. Yes, this is my favorite question. Is your business gives you joy?
Does
You
my
know,
business give me joy?
in your business.
Where if I'm enjoying my business. Okay, so for me, I the good thing is I love what I do, so all of it is almost joy. But where I find my deepest joy is when I see an entrepreneur and I see a business owner come along and their structure is not all right. When I say structure, meaning their business house is not where it's supposed to be. That means, in layman's term, it's messy. So they may not be in the right business entity, their taxes all over the place, and most importantly, they do not have a good bookkeeping system in place.
Yeah,
Now, when we say bookkeeping, of course, we're emphasizing on the financial aspect, but you also have internal controls as it pertains to, well, where do you store your documents? What are your internal procedures? But for me, I find joy when I'm able to help a business owner to overcome the obstacle of not being able to enjoy success. Because without these four elements of accounting, a business won't be able to move in a progressively way. Because what happens is accounting is the engine of business, right? If the engine is not in the vehicle, how is it going to be moving? So that's where my joy comes from. My joy comes from helping a business to be delivered from their circumstances.
yeah. What's the difference between accounting and bookkeeping?
I am so happy you brought that up.
Yeah,
So,
I'm thinking like, what is the difference? Are they the same or?
not necessarily. So, here's the thing. As a society, we put accountants, the name accountant, in under one umbrella, but our definition of an accountant is different. If you go to see someone once a year, they're not necessarily your accountant. In fact, I would argue that they're not your accountant. They may be your tax preparer, but that doesn't make them your accountant. They may not even be your tax advisor, because you should be meeting with your tax advisor throughout the year. Now, a bookkeeper, that's a person who keeps track of your financial records, right? But they may not be providing you advice or even tax preparation services. So your bookkeeper may not necessarily be your accountant. Your accountant ideally is someone that you meet with on a regular basis, someone who you can call and ensure that you have all the resources that you need to stay compliant in your business. So your accountant is literally that person that you want to take care of all your financial needs in your business.
Yeah, so I can really call that I have an accountant because
You
I'm
can
paying.
call over you.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes, I yes. That is
It's a
good.
good feeling. It's a good feeling when you actually have an accountant on your team.
Yes, yes. And what drives you to show up in your business every day?
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So I am driven by everything except myself, because honestly, if it was up to me, I would sit on the couch and watch TV and just, live a regular life. Because honestly, for me, I am very conservative with spending. So I don't have necessarily a huge budget. I can live comfortably with what I have. But
yes,
for me, what drives me is the people around me, the people from my childhood, the people that I know both directly or indirectly. Because for me, I am working, or I'm putting in work for the people around me. So that could be my mom, my
hmm,
family back in Jamaica, my family here, my friends in Jamaica that I hold so dearly to my heart. Because for me, I am striving to impact individuals both indirectly and directly, whether or not I know them. And I've done it and I want to continue to do it. So if I just sat down and just thought about myself, I wouldn't do anything. But because
yeah,
I know that people are dependent upon me, people are seeking something that God gave me to give to them. So why should I sit down and be selfish with what was given to me? So that drives me. The thought that I would be selfish, the thought that other people are around me, just, they're dependent on me. And I have
Mhm.
to remember that. So that wakes me up and that says,
Mhm.
Rose, girl, you got work to do. You have things to do. You have lives to change. You have people to impact.
Yes. So what is your number one recommendation to business owners?
Recommendation. Okay. Clean up your house. Clean
Yeah.
up your business house. Because I oftentimes, and especially now that a lot of businesses are being formed because of the pandemic, the impact, and people now having the courage to step out on their own. I I applaud all business owners, but I want business owners to succeed at the same time. And to be able to succeed, you have to have a clean house. You can't walk around in a messy place. So that means your accounting can be all over the place. And for me, an accountant is one of the most essential people on your team. So that means I come in and I'm going to say, well, you need a system for your bookkeeping. We need to restructure your taxes because you're paying too much. We need to put some stuff in place. We need to look at your business entity. How do you see yourself performing or your business performing in the next couple of years? So for me, I would say ensure that you have the right accountant on your team. Interview your accountant. Are you guys speaking the same language? I mean, accountant is a language in and of itself, right? So I
Mhm.
may be speaking something that you don't understand, but if I can't break it down to you, I'm probably not the right person for you. So you want to ensure that you have the right people on your team. You guys are speaking somewhat of the same language to be able to achieve that common goal.
Mhm. So speaking about that, so what kind of advantage can you offer to business owner?
Okay. So for me, I look at things in a holistic perspective. I'm not saying that other accountants don't, but I take pride in the fact that I get to assess a business's bookkeeping, payroll, all of these great things that are foundational to the operation of the business. And I do so with great commitment and detail orientation because at the same time, I have to know that not all businesses are the same. And I have to assess them individually. I have to look at what they have going on because if you are, say, a daycare owner, you don't have the same issue as a home healthcare business. No.
Mhm.
And that's why the title, the accountant therapist, is there because when a person goes to a therapist, it's not the same person with the same personality coming all the time. Absolutely not. So each business comes in through my door. They have a different issue. So I have to do my specialized approach, I call it. I have to first listen to them. So you
Mhm.
talk and I mirror everything that you said. If I'm not mirroring what you're saying, either we need to have a deeper conversation or I'm not the right person for you. And it's okay to accept that reality because it is what it is, right? So I listen, I become your man in the mirror. Then we begin to plan together. Because without a plan, a business will surely fail. I mean, that's really for anybody, but businesses especially need a plan in order to be successful or to endure some level of growth. So once we plan together, we execute. Now, of course,
Mhm.
I am going to help you to execute. So that's my advantage there. I not only meet you at the end or meet you in the beginning, but I meet you all throughout the entire process. At the same time, I'm always educating my clients. I think without awareness, you cannot have transformation. And for clients not to be able to understand what's happening, it doesn't really make sense because what if something were to happen or you need to make a particular decision and unfortunately I'm not at hand or your accountant is not at hand? How are you able to explain what's happening? You have to have some type of involvement in your business. I'm not saying you have to be the accountant, but you also have to know what's happening because if for example, if I'm your bookkeeper and I come and I just give you your financial statements and no explanation, no talking about it, it's typically useless to you because it's like, oh, I see numbers. What does this mean? What should I do about this? Whereas as for myself, I come in and say, well, this is what's happening here. This is what we need to do. And it looks like based on this or that, this is what could happen. So it's a matter of walking you through what the process looks like. So at some point, you yourself will understand what you need to do to accomplish some type of success in your business.
So speaking about the accountant therapist, what is the accountant therapist working on these days?
Okay, so I am just first, let me say I am grateful, and I know that it's a privilege of things that I've been working on or have been given, the vision to do. So my latest work is my youth empowerment financial program, and I absolutely love it because of how unique it is. Now, based on my program and what I've discussed, you can tell that I like things from a holistic perspective. I need to look at all angles of what's taking place. So in my youth empowerment financial program, I work with young teens. So that's ages 12 to 16. And we talk about money, we talk about entrepreneurship. Now, those are two elements. The next two elements are motivation. We know that as entrepreneurs, and I'm sure you can relate, Melissa, we need
Yes.
some type of motivation. So, at the start of the program, I dive into these young people so that they can understand who they are as a person, what makes them happy, what makes them sad. So, really just finding out about themselves. Then, of course, we talk about money, we talk about entrepreneurship. And the last portion of that is discipline that matters. We all as entrepreneurs know that we need discipline. Without discipline, where
Yes.
are we
Yes.
going? So I have to implement that in it to remind them that entrepreneurs, we don't just wake up one morning, oh, we're successful. Absolutely not.
No, 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 no.
And it's the same approach with money. You don't just become rich, you don't just become wealthy. You have to have some type of discipline with your spending habits. And then manners for me, I think manners is so critical all angles because no matter where you are in life, you have to have some level of manners, right? So I put all four of those together and we talk. I teach them, they learn, and then we just keep it going. The next thing that I'm working on is, not working on, but it's already in its works, is my Excel program, where I work with individuals from ages 12 and older on Microsoft Excel because it's such a powerful tool that we often underestimate, but it can be so useful in our daily lives. Or when you go on the job, they're probably going to ask you, well, what level of Excel experience do you have? And if you have none, you trickle down to the bottom. It's hard for you to get over someone who has that experience. And then as a business owner, you know, if you can't afford a paid software or something along that line, Excel can come in very handy for you to structure and organize your business's financial information and even other internal control aspects as well. So I'm a huge fan of that and I enjoy teaching it. And then my last thing is, I also created my ebook called Entrepreneurial Toxic Relief Guide because of the many questions and concerns that I come across with entrepreneurs and business owners. I felt led to write this book to help inform entrepreneurs and business owners how to keep their house clean. It's so important to keep your house clean. So
Yes.
aspect that the holistic aspects that I use to assess a business, I break down in this book so that businesses can apply it without having to pay, a certain level of money or a certain amount of money to afford an accountant.
Yes, it is very important to have a clean house. That's very important. That's very good. So, what is your biggest concern as an accountant as it pertains to businesses and their owners?
My biggest concern is the level of investment in the business.
Yeah.
So I come across this a lot. Business owners are they don't invest in certain areas of their business because they don't necessarily see the importance. And unfortunately, accounting is one of those areas. And I come
Yes.
across time and
Yes.
time. They
I
want to
agree with that. I
exactly.
definitely agree because, like, I don't like paperwork and I don't keep receipts, but I always swipe. I always swipe checks and
Mhm.
never, I never and don't want to receive cash because I tell people I want a paper trail and it's for your protection too. I want a paper trail, so I don't want cash. I want checks
Absolutely.
or something like that. That's why for me the number one important thing, ladies, If you cannot run or earn it, you need to invest in accountant because bookkeeping. So bookkeeping is really, really important in the business because you cannot go wrong for that because like I want to be like, I want to submit everything, I don't want to hide or something like that. So I'm always like, I invest. Like I don't have much money that but I really put the money where I can. Really, number one is really bookkeeping.
See, and then I would then ask, well, Melissa, what if you didn't have bookkeeping? How would you feel? How would your life be?
If
See,
it's
ironic, right?
oh my God, I never get. I'm not worried because I've been taken care of. You know,
See, see, that's
not
what I'm saying.
yeah,
If
it's
you
not
don't, yes, exactly. If you don't have, if you're not invested in certain areas of your business, you're not feeding your business the right food. Because I understand that all other aspects are important: marketing, advertising, all of those other things. Yes, they're very important, but they all work in a circle together. If one part of the body doesn't work, or
yes,
is hindered from operating, the other parts will feel the impact. So even if you're pumping money over here and you're not doing it over here in a balanced way, because guess what? I'm supposed to be the one to help you to figure out how to balance that out. If you don't have someone to help you to balance out how the funds are being spent or how you can use the money that you're spending to tell a story about your business, how are you going to know? So for
right,
me, my major concern with businesses is that they don't see accounting as an important aspect of their business. And that's a
and
terrible thought to have, because even you said bookkeeping, it can be so stressful and time consuming. But at the same time, if you go ahead and invest in it, it can save you time and
yes,
money and peace of
yes,
mind. I mean, peace of
yes,
mind, that's very expensive.
yes. I was about to say that peace of mind. I can sleep really good because it's like I am. Like the good thing with my business is I don't have any debts. Like I put everything on cash, but I don't know if it's good for me for my accounting or something for my I don't. I have a question for you with the
Mhm.
business. Like, I forget the term. Like, is it business credit? Is it
Business.
business credit? Like a credit for business? What
Oh,
is the term for that? Is it term for
so
that? Is it business credit or
yeah, there is such thing as a business credit, and that's extremely important, especially depending on your industry, because your
yeah?
business credit will tell investors, suppliers, vendors, your history with money with other lenders to assess whether or not they want
No.
to lend you. And if you think about yourself, if you go to the bank and you want to borrow a loan, they are going to investigate your background to see how liable you are to follow through. And having a business credit, meaning you have to have a DUNS number to be able to build that credit history. If you don't have a lot of these things going for you, it will hinder you, because having business credit helps you to extend credit and be able to increase your cash flow. So if you don't have these things, and this is what I'm talking about with business formation, this is a part of your business formation. You need to have these things going for you to create a healthy foundation in your business.
In the future, maybe I will think about that. In the future, yes. But let me tell you, even if I'm not that earning yet, but really, I make sure that I'm going to afford the accountant. Accountant is the most important thing in the business, especially the bookkeeping. I'm telling you, like it's going to give you sane with your
Yes.
business. You're going to be. It's really, really very good investment for you and your business. Number one, you're not go. It's always right to do the tax. It's like you're not gonna be wrong because they will. I will probably like, hey, I didn't do this in my account or something like that. So yeah, that's why I'm like every time like with the tax, like I'm just waiting for the tax returns. That's all I'm
Hmm.
waiting for. So it's really a good investment to have a good accountant. And
Yeah.
How about this? You've connected with many people in My Coffee Connect. Tell me how that experience has impacted you.
Mm. So Michael Connect came to all of us, I would say, at a much needed time when this pandemic was, just starting. This came at a time where as business owners, we needed support. We needed like-minded individuals that we could connect with. And coming onto My Coffee Connect, I was able to connect with those particular individuals because we're all essentially facing the same thing, a barrier, which was the pandemic. Now, all of us being able to support each other really kept us, going in our business. I know for me, I've worked with a lot of individuals from My Coffee Connect in the sense that either I was their client, they were my client, or we had a partnership going. And for My Coffee Connect, the support is magnificent.
Yeah,
For example, someone having a podcast and, you, another individual from My Coffee Connect going on there and essentially just having a conversation, but it's also a way to show your support and to help get the word out about that particular individual's business. So for me, it's just a great way to connect, and I have connected with a lot of great people. I am still in contact with a lot of those people. Again, I was either their client or they're my client or something along that line. We worked in some capacity together. So my experience has truly been phenomenal.
that's very good. Thank you so much for doing that. Yeah, and then we're definitely going to grow because my goal for us is working together to grow our businesses and help the community. That's the goal, and everybody loves it. And they understand the word collaboration. So
Mhm.
I'm happy with that. So thank you so much for your good words to My Coffee Connect.
My
And
pleasure.
yeah, what will you say to your past versus your future self?
Well, my past self, I could be talking to a whole bunch of different people. I mean, you have the child in me that grew up on nothing. Then you have the teenager in me that kind of struggled a little bit as she came to America. And then you have that young adult in me. For my past self, I would remind myself or tell myself that, you know, it's okay. Just keep going. It doesn't matter what's happening, just remain focused. Because a good friend of mine said, focus is genius, and it's incredible to understand what that means.
Yes.
A genius is not necessarily the smartest person in the room, but a genius is someone who's focused in accomplishing a task, who sets
Yes.
something that they want to achieve. So I have tried to kind of implement that in my now self and is seeking to do so in my future self because that's what has kind of set me apart from other individuals.
Yeah.
No matter where they are, it has set me apart because a lot of people, hey, they're much smarter than I am, no problem. They have more resources than I do, no problem. But you do not have my drive. You do not have my focus level. And that is one thing that has set me apart from so many different individuals, So for my past self, girl, it's okay. You're going to get somewhere that you're going to be proud of. People are going to be proud of you because of the work that you're doing, either for yourself or for the community. Because I grew up in an inner city community. I didn't see myself back then working or giving back to inner city kids. And I have done that because I have put that selfish component to the side and reminded myself that I have purpose and I have passion along with my purpose to give back to where I'm coming from. And for my future self, girl, you're going to be all right. Just keep focusing.
Oh, very nice. It's so nice to have a conversation with you. You provide a lot of nuggets. I hope you had a pen and paper to write down all the things that you've learned. And if for those who can watch replay, you can still watch replay. Just type replay so we know how many people is watching this. And you are so awesome to be an accountant. If somebody's looking for accountant, how are they connect? How are they going to connect with you?
Okay, so for me, individuals can connect with my accounting firm by visiting our website at www.brownsfca.com or sending us an email at info@brownsfca.com. We're also on social media platform, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram at Browns underscore FCA. And if you want to reach out to me regarding my financial literacy platform, which is the Accountant Therapist, you can visit theaccountanttherapist.com or email me at rose at theaccountanttherapist.com. Again, I create or I try to produce financial literacy across the board. And that includes both my entrepreneurs and my young people, because the generation to come is so important that we educate them as it pertains to, listen, money isn't everything, but everything needs money. And at the same time, you can be independent by being an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur can do anything that they set their mind to. So again, I have these programs going on. I have whether you need tax advisory or tax planning, I am here.
That is so nice. And then you can give comments to all the Facebook that I have and YouTube so they can um, reach out to you. Because
Absolutely.
this is a Facebook Live in Coffee and Conversations, my Coffee Connect, Women in Business Social Networking, my personal Facebook page, and in YouTube. So you can follow me in YouTube, Coffee and Conversations with Melissa, and like my Facebook page, Coffee and Conversations with Melissa, where you can see all the interviews I have. Thank you so much, Rose, for being an awesome guest for today. Uh,
Thank you so much, Melissa, for having me. It's truly a pleasure. I always enjoy having our conversations.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye.